I would like to welcome everyone to this third series of free webinars of C-SHIP. Today's webinar is focusing on cultural entrepreneurs, artpreneurs, and digital transformations, and it's under the framework of the Large-Scale Skills Partnership for Cultural and Creative Industries of the Pact for Skills. Before we start, I would like to dedicate a quick moment for housekeeping. We have muted everyone by default. Please note that the webinar will be recorded, so please feel free to keep your camera on or off at your ease. The last 20 minutes will be dedicated to questions and answers. You're more than welcome to use the chat box throughout. My colleague Karen will be collecting questions and addressing them to the speakers. You can also click on the microphone icon to mute or unmute yourself and interact directly with our two speakers during the question and answers slot. First of all, I will start by giving a brief overview of what cultural entrepreneurship training that we provide here at ESHEC Brussels Management School is, and then I will introduce our two bright speakers. So I will be sharing my screen. Voila. Yeah. Unfortunately, we had also a third speaker who, Anik, who is unwell. So this is why she is not joining us today. So C-SHIP is a professional training program which aims at providing action learning training and also to raise awareness on cultural entrepreneurship. It is designed for professionals in the cultural and creative industries and aspirants as well. The program targets people from the visual and performing arts, cultural heritage professionals, design professionals, film and audiovisual production professionals, and cultural institutions and museums. The training is designed to guide CCI's professionals and or aspirants towards starting their entrepreneurial journey, ensure the financial viability of their projects, develop and or strengthen their managerial skills, and maximize their societal contribution and positive impacts of their projects. Cultural entrepreneurship project is actually approached through 5 interdependent pillars, which are innovative business and operational models, exponential technologies, ecosystems and partnerships, internal and external governance, and sustainability and positive impact. All these aspects are actually introduced through agile and design thinking perspectives. The program offers 2 training programs, C-SHIP and Artpreneur. Artpreneur will be starting very soon on the 19th of January, and it's structured in 8 half days, while C-SHIP will start in March, and it's a more intensive program where we start from an idea, and at the end of the journey, each cultural entrepreneur launches her or his project. Up to date, we launched 3 free webinar series. The first was dedicated to the 5 interdependent pillars of C-SHIP. The second was more focused on the interrelation between culture and business, while the third season is addressing the working groups of the Large-Scale Skills Partnership for CCIs under the Pact for Skills. This is why the first webinar was dedicated to cultural entrepreneurship, what skills for the future. The second was on cross-sector collaboration. And today we will be speaking about the digital transformation. I would like to present now our first speaker, Claudia Matera. Claudia is the Chief Development Officer at All Digital. She worked as a researcher, project manager, and lecturer at universities in the UK and Italy, and for public and networking organizations in the Netherlands. Her background is within the contemporary arts, carrying out research in the fields of creative and cultural industries, entrepreneurship, education and distant learning, digital competences, and gaming. She had been one of the pioneers of mobile gaming development, running an indie game company focused on educational games to raise awareness on topics with a social impact for youngsters or adults. She holds a PhD in contemporary history of art, investigating the economic and cultural relationships between the arts and the economy over the last 4 decades, looking for interdisciplinary relationships. Our second speaker is Andrea Monaco. Andrea is an experienced professional with passion to work on innovative business model and operations. He believes in the coherence between culture, business, and impact investing for sustainable development and growth of capital. He took responsibility working for industries and financial organizations in the fields of governance and risk management, business strategy, and design thinking. In 2017, he started to examine innovative strategic framework in financial industry with blockchain disruptive technology. And in 2020, he founded ARTI as a purpose-driven startup to contribute towards a new paradigm of venture philanthropy and impact investing aimed at safeguarding and enhancing cultural heritage. Anik, unfortunately, is not joining us today, so I will stop sharing and start by welcoming you, Claudia, and giving you the floor. Please, please start by explaining to us what is All Digital, what is your working group about, and the interesting projects you're carrying in regards to CCIs and digital transformation. Thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Ruba. Hi, everyone, and thanks for inviting. And I feel really comfortable with this setting. I see where between also digital and then also the creative and cultural industries and entrepreneurship. And then that's nice to join this type of environments. Let me know if there might be at some point an issue with me sharing the screen. Should be okay. So my name is Claudia, and as anticipated, I work at All Digital. All Digital is a European network. We are based in Brussels, in Belgium, and we represent, now we reach 100 members from across Europe, and all our members are educational type of organizations. There's a diversity within this definition, meaning that they can be competence centers, formal type of education institutions, like for instance, universities, but also vet providers, associations, foundations, so organizations that provide trainings, but within non-formal and informal type of learning, and also private companies that, for instance, provide services, like for instance, online platforms, or certificates for education. So more or less, different type of organizations, everyone focused, all of them focused on digital competencies, providing educational offers to anyone in the European geographical area on enhancing digital competencies. So this is why collaboratively, these numbers are, of course, representing all the network. We are able every year to reach 1,600,000 people from across Europe. We have, so when we say that we focus on digital skills, we means literally our name, meaning that we focus on all the digital competencies from basic ones to advanced ones. But at the same time, within, let's say, the spectrum, there's also digital media literacy. That means, though there are different specifications on the definition, but more or less means our ability to navigate informations, to get informed online, and so through digital type of media, but also produce contents there, and also STEAM type of approaches, especially within methodologies of teaching, especially in schools, and also digital cultural heritage. At the same time, our name, All Digital, means that we want to provide education on digital skills to everyone. And when we say this, we literally mean everyone. And us and our members, we are able to provide access to education from literally kindergartens till elderly people of any age, independently also then on backgrounds and all of that. Our main activities that you might also be engaged if interested are our annual flagship activities like the Digital Weeks, which is a 3 or 4 weeks raising awareness campaigns on the relevance of digital skills that this year will take place in May 2024. The Digital Summit, we usually have between September or October, on which is a conference-based type of annual gathering looking at innovation within digital education and digital competencies. And it is also the occasion to provide all digital awards, looking to, of course, innovation. And last but not least, our All Digital Academy, which is an online platform where we provide trainings on emerging technologies. Of course, for now, the focus is on artificial intelligence and also generative artificial intelligence and also IoT, but there are also other topics like digital inclusion and more to come. The next will be into how to support and include anyone affected by learning disabilities. And these trainings are especially tailored for educators and so trainers and teachers. Moving now into the working group within the wider than area of the larger skills partnership. Me personally, so All Digital is a member of the partnership since a long time, and me personally have the pleasure to manage the working group on skills for the digital environment. Our scope for at least this year, 2023, is to address and have an understanding about what it means digital transformation, especially within the creative and cultural industries. Digital transformation is a kind of an open definition and is impacting every sector. And the first discussion that we started having within the working group was about how is it impacting the specific professions, the job roles, and in terms of skills, what kind of new requirements are needed within the creative and cultural industries professions. And as a second step, we then also started looking at what's then the impact into education? So looking also forward to reskilling where needed the actual professionals, but at the same time, the new generations that are on training or are going to be on training, and so joining the creative and cultural industries. So the scope was understanding this specific situation with the focus of digital skills, of course, and then have different moments into sharing what then is this current status of digital skills needs in Europe. The Pact for Skills type of let's say activity is for this year as kind of decided to join the European Year of Skills by setting up and kind of revive a bit the larger scale partnership. And it is meant to be an occasion to gather relevant stakeholders and then have some concrete type of actions and tangible some type of results. And at the same time, what has happened was also to link the Pact for Skills type of activities with other activities that we were already, all of us, I mean, that we are in the different working groups carrying out because of projects or because of the everyday kind of annual activities. And in terms of activities that we have carried out, we have then linked the working group within the channel types project that I'm going to share and tell about it a little bit more a bit later in a few slides. Within the Pact for Skills working group, we have explored the digital skills type of spectrum, taking advantage of the communities of practice that at All Digital we manage, and also the flagship events that we run annually. So this is why during the All Digital Weeks of 2023, we decided to have a workshop quite specific into the digital skills for the creative and cultural industries. And we have engaged the Digicomp community of practice that we host on our digital platform. You might have heard Digicomp. It might sound less familiar to you. Digicomp is the framework that has been developed by JSC, the Joint Research Centre of the European Commission, focused on the digital competencies. Literally is the overall framework of all the different competencies, specifying the different levels and the core skills, the attitudes, and the confidence that we need to have, or we should have at a specific level when referring to digital competencies. And just to mention, our engagement with this community of practice is very close. It's not just because we host the community and we facilitate the community, but because Digicomp for All Digital and its members is a kind of a guideline when we provide training, where we also analyze digital skills type of need, and at the same time we advocate to adopt the framework because we recognize the huge benefits in doing so. So within this context, we have had a discussion about So engaging with digital competencies type of experts coming from that community about specific inputs related to the creative and cultural industries, looking at what kind of skills the community recognize are the ones needed today, and also looking forward for tomorrow that from the digital domain should be present in the creative and cultural industries. We then had other activities and skills mapping and discussions, and we had a second, more public, in this case, kind of event during our All Digital Summit at the end of September, where we then shared a little bit more what was our understanding after these different consultations, workshops, and skills type of mapping. And we were looking in that case within the summit for external type of then perspectives, especially coming from education and digital education. The next steps regarding the Pact for Skill working group is then enlarging the understanding that we have at the moment. We tackled it from two main routes. One starts from the digital side, so the Digicomp Italy type of site, looking into the creative and cultural industries. The second route, which is the one coming from the Channel-Types project, comes then from the creative and cultural industries, looking into the digital domain. And we are now at the phase of kind of combining them, but we believe that we should enlarge. And with that word, we also mean to enlarge within the different fields of the creative and cultural industries. So we are able to cover all the different sectors that are into the CCIs. And this, of course, always in line, going together with the Channel-Types project. So what is Channel-Types then? We might remember what was a channel type, what is in technical, let's say, side, a channel type. Within more, let's say, formally, it is a European funded project. Specifically, it is within the Erasmus program, and is a so-called blueprint type of project. And this is why within then the Channel-Types project, we say that we kind of we also are blueprints that continuously evolve, change, update, revise, and meaning that everything is in progress. There isn't a before and after. There is a constant update on it's not just the situation, it's not just the skills, but also on the people. So within All Digital is one of the partners of this project, and in one of the initial activities was into understanding the context, where it means to look at the actual societal type of changes, and at the same time acknowledge how these different changes are reflected into us as professionals, but at the same time actually also as human beings overall. And this is quite relevant, especially when talking about technology, and also to include the let's say, not just the art skills, the technical type of skills that are required, but also the emotions, the expectations. So this more human type of dimension that needs to be included, not just as a single person, but as a collective. So as, in that sense, a society. So then there is kind of all these different layers within that understanding of what is a blueprint. So it's not just a framework, it's not just updating a list of skills, it's not just updating a profile on a specific professional profile or specific industry or domain, but it's acknowledging what is the community, what is then the society of that community, and if they might be the same thing eventually, and then build a framework that is a methodological type of framework, because that methodological framework is then able to constantly, in that sense, is really a blueprint, and it's constantly able to follow the new needs, the new changes, the new requests, and so all the possible futures that then the community is going to decide. Where community, literally, we mean the professionals. So this is why we ended up in stating that the community is the curriculum. And just to give you a little bit of more details about what is the project, what we're doing, what we have done. We have just finalized the first year of the project, and kind of a marking kind of point, milestone, let's say, was the Creative Skills Week that we just had in Vienna, in Austria, literally a month ago, and where we've started sharing all the mapping of skills that we engage with within the first year. And moving forward in this second year, we are literally in the phase of developing the training program and so then the content. So once I've kind of looked at the different competencies and literally mapped them, now we are in the challenging phase into how to make sure that we can transfer them within educational different settings, so both vet and higher education, including also non-formal type of education, and so in that sense provide that inclusion and accessibility to different type of institutions and also participants. And then, of course, pilot it in different specific sectors. The creative and cultural industries, as we know, is made by many different fields. Within this project frame, we are focused within 4 of them, which are design, audiovisual, fashion, and gaming. And so once the training will be ready, there will be specific regional type of pilots, and of course, further occasions also to engage and be engaged. We have a total of 4 years of project, which means that we have 3 years ahead of us. So during this first year, then we looked at which are the skills that are missing at the moment in the industry, which are the ones that are urgent, because we should have professionals, should have today, and which are the ones that are going to be needed tomorrow because of all the different changes. This is why the understanding of the blueprint type of mindset. And within that, we have included, of course, digital, for instance, in our case, but also green, and so sustainability overall as an approach, apart from, of course, the creative and cultural industries core ones. So back to that idea of having a methodological framework that can provide multiple type of futures, also the understanding of future skills are then created in the ecosystems. So it is a kind of constant understanding, acknowledging the reality and the next future to then immediately adjust and react. And so it is about it is more about understanding what is the strategy. It's not just cause and effect. It's not just request. So kind of demand and offer is more into having that focus within the community. If feel free to reach the website for more, and also if you might be interested in, we constantly have different events and so on, also to be involved as experts, as eventually also for pilots. So channeltypes.website is the relevant website. And then, of course, all digital is, in that sense, our main point of reference in case you want to reach me specifically or overall my specific organization.
Thank you very much, Claudia, for this very inspiring presentation. I would like to recap quickly on the important aspects you actually tackled in your presentation. You started by presenting what all digital is, and you explained also beautifully the concept of all being all technologies, but also accessibility to all. I found it very relevant when you explained the process of exploring what are the current status of digital skills need, and the fact that you collaborated together with a wider community of DigitComp on how to develop these competences and what were the needs. And more importantly, the fact of being part of Scenariotypes as member of All Digital, but also as a working group leader on the digital upskilling and reskilling needs is also very important in terms not only exploring what are the skills gaps, the opportunities of reskilling and upskilling, but also what are the future transversal skills needs, and what kind of training programs and content that should be available both in terms of formal, informal, and VET education for different typologies of sectors. The fact that you ended your presentation with the last slide exploring what kind of future strategy, leaving it wide open on what the horizon will be unpacking for us is very important. It provides hope for all sectors to be part of this beautiful story, but it also shows how inclusive the process is. And speaking about strategy bounds really well with our next speaker, Andrea, who will explain how his passion for financial aspects, but also cultural heritage, brought him to develop his ARTI startup. Andrea, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ruba. Hello, everyone. So I hope that you can see my presentation.
We see it, but not full screen. Now, yes. Now, yes.
Okay. Now it's working?
Yes, but please put it again full screen, Andrea.
Oh, yeah. Right, now it should
Perfect.
be
Yes, perfect.
perfect. So thank you, everyone. So I would like to present ARTI. ARTI is a startup that I founded in 2020, and the main goal is to preserving cultural heritage and find a new paradigm where cultural heritage could be at the center of economic development. I would like to spend a few minutes also to introduce myself, because I believe that ARTI is coming from the previous experience when when I was at school. Because at school I was always trying to matching different words and try to find passion about them, to try to understand the combination of all these words and find the way to create passion on my studies. But at the same time, when I moved to university as well, I found other kind of words that were more related to my interest. You can see here, because my interest is about economics and strategy. But at that time, we were also talking about globalization. This kind of word make me thinking in the new direction of my life, because this was my question. What is globalization? And globalization is something good or something bad? So to better understand this word, I decided to travel and to go a bit around the world. And my first experience was in Montreal, thanks to the cousin of my dad. They had the possibility to spend 6 months there. And when I was at the airport and moving back to Italy, I decided to instead to change the destination. And I catch the bus, the Greyhound bus, the one that we see in the nice American movies. And then arrive in New York. Well, my interest and objective was to learning from experience. I found my job to get some money, then I spent some time there. But unfortunately, I never thought that I was living really bad, tragic experience in my life. So when I was back in Verona, then I decided to run through my career progression. But I really be conscious that more that a career was like a journey. And in fact, it took me 10 years when I had the possibility to move back to New York. And I was working for Deutsche Bank, and I remember the view from the building of Deutsche Bank was amazing. But the reality at the basement of this building was completely different. There was the first important event where people were protesting about democracy, economic democracy, and so on. If you remember, was this event called Occupy Wall Street. In fact, I remember policemen in front of the building of Deutsche Bank to ensure security for workers there, and so on. I moved back then at the time I was in London, and I moved to another financial institution, but I was very close to change a bit my life. In fact, in 2020, but in 2000, close to 2020, I decided to quit and move forward with my project, ARTI. And this was a table that impressed me a lot, because the fact that I was always trying to combine something when I saw this table, I said, oh, mamma mia, this is incredible. Look here, how many words, how many disciplines that are discussing this table. So this table for me was something impressive, very interesting, because as we know, all social development goals are intercorrelated with each other, and to create a good impact in economy, the society, and biosphere. So the ARTI start from the Sustainable Goal 11.4 that want to protect and safeguard the world cultural and natural heritage. But why? I want to drive your attention here because, unfortunately, I believe that the cultural heritage is at risk. And what is the consequence when we are losing cultural heritage, or many assets are abandoned? And in fact, consider that in my country, the percentage of cultural heritage has the state of neglect are quite high. And the GDP allowed for preservation is very, very low. The consequence, the fact that government need money, but we see that our cities sometimes have there are assets that are covered by brands of corporations, and so apparently there is a kind of mechanism of commodifying the cultural heritage. So this is good or bad? What is the impact of this kind of approach? In ARTI, we want to try to find a good solution, much more sustainable solutions, where we have to start from a participatory models, where we have to thinking that, I like to think in this way, that the ownership of this asset is part of the heritage community. So the citizens that are living in the local territories. And this is why we believe that the technology can help us to create a new paradigm of cultural heritage, where we can try to put cultural heritage at the heart of the economy, and really to see it as a potential asset to generate growth and capital, social capital. We use different technology. We start from the digitalization as well, then the blockchain solution, and we want to move in the Web3 and gamification mechanism. But let me try to explain you how, because this is our goal. First of all, we want to open cultural philanthropy. We want to make cultural philanthropy more accessible to everyone. Only this way we can improve the sense of awareness and belonging. To do that, since 2 years we work on the development of our web app, where donors can interact with the digital asset, with the digital twin, and he can also decide the portion where to donate. There is a much more immersive experience using digital technology. We develop an algorithm that makes the possibility to create as well a participatory model, but I would like to say more like a system strategy with creative, cultural, local partners, because cultural heritage is not just tangible, it's also intangible. And when I see in my country there are so many very beautiful laboratory where they produce high quality products that unfortunately as well they are in difficulties situation for the competitions at the global scale. So we want to create a win-to-win strategy when the donors make the donation, has also the possibility to get some benefit. It's a simple, today, a simple voucher. We are also moving toward a much more using of digitalization, tokenization mechanism, but we have to do that in a responsible manner. Today, we want to go live with a more practical but very useful pillars. So the gift, the voucher that is going to be used is also published in our web app. And this way we provide value for these laboratories. And we try to engage citizens, but let's think about tourists. There are many tourists in our city that unfortunately they are walking around, but they don't know exactly which are the shops that are responsible using the manufacturing supply to produce something with high quality and responsible manner. And we can create value, but these are in a kind of way the word. When I try again to combine, to find the good word and thinking that interconnection between different words, I found this one that are very important: public, people, and private. This word have some kind of important value. There are so many disciplines here that we have to think in a different manner with a multidisciplinary approach and to generate this kind of partnership where we do through cultural heritage. We put cultural heritage at the center, and so in this way we can create and generate value in return for the public, municipality, but as well the museum foundation. We can engage people, donors, tourists, and we create much more responsibility and awareness by people, and as well by private enterprises. Because today, great branding means also to be responsible for the external side of the company, so the environment, the social, have a social kind of responsibility that is not just making some sponsorship to support cultural heritage with and the branding on the top of it, but it's something much more important and challenging. And is a very good opportunity, I believe, especially if we are moving using the strategic approach of the environment, social, and governance regulations. And this is our first campaign. We hope to kick off soon by the first quarter of 2024. Is an historical temple here in the city of Verona, but that we want to return to the community. This is our team. We are open to collaborate because we believe on the possibility to generate partnership for the common goals. And yeah, so this is more or less everything about ARTI, and feel free to contact me for additional information or possibility to collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrea, for this very rich presentation. You started by sharing your personal professional career path with us, and you explained in a very interesting way how your passion of how to reflect the values of cultural heritage and its contribution to sustainable development drove you to create your own enterprise, a startup actually, which is focused on how to design a participatory model which involves tourists, cultural and creative industries, local retailers, artisans, but also philanthropists, in order to acquire knowledge, learn, but also through immersive technologies, but also provide financial tools in order to better restore and better make these cultural heritage available for future generations. You also mentioned the importance of using the digital aspect and how tokenization could provide an interactive and immersive experience for potential philanthropists, and how important is to generate value through for partnership, public-private people partnership, and where the role of multidisciplinarity is really key in regenerating a multiplicity of values out of cultural heritage, starting, of course, from the cultural value, but also the social, economical, and environmental one. Finally, you ended by providing a concrete case study, which you are launching in 2024. You started working on in Verona, a temple in Verona, which will be also, you will present as an application for Europa Nostra in 2024. So thank you very much for this very interesting presentation. And I would like to open the floor now for questions. I can't see questions in the chat box, so please feel free to unmute yourself and address a question either to Claudia or Andrea, or both of them, of course. This applies also to you, Claudia and Andrea, if you want to interact between yourselves, you're most welcome to do so. I can't see any burning question.
I have a question for Claudia, if it's okay. Hello, Claudia. Thank you. I was not clear. Is your program a train-the-trainer program only? Or do you, when you say you reach everybody, are you doing that kind of a diffusion system? Or are you training also individuals directly? Or are you organizing classes to the wider public?
Very good question, thank you. Because actually it's a feedback to me that I haven't specified that. So it really depends on the type of action that we are doing. What I mean is, as all digital, us in Brussels, the Secretariat, basically, we are focused on the trainers and educators, and we are using the All Digital Academy, so an online platform to train educators, do a kind of an upskilling or kind of focus on current type of aspects to be updated within digital education. When referring then to the wider audience that we reach, this is through the activity of our members. So at local, but it could be also regional and national level, because some of them are also a network of different centers, educational centers. They are the ones that then, let's say, face different type of target audiences. So in these occasions, for instance, another big difference is also on the language, because the offer that we do from Brussels basically is English-based, whereas then with our members, and we're trying also this on our platform to then translate in, let's say, most of the languages that, or as many as we can. So it's in that case, of course, with trainings, especially with specific target audiences, then again are the members the ones that with the let's say local national language are able to provide the training. usually in European funded projects or funded type of projects. In that case, it depends on the size of the project and also the focus. For instance, in the channel types I was presenting and sharing, English is the language, because the focus there is mainly into understanding what kind of methodology and approach can work before then expanding into other languages and also in all the fields within the creative and cultural industries. And this is a kind of non-written rule in somehow that we tend to have. It happens also today for us in Brussels to engage with the Belgian community, for instance, I would say communities, and but in that case we rely on the members that we have in Belgium. So also in that case, also in Belgium, there are 2, eventually 3 languages present. So also in there, with the same principle, we then engage with our member, either French speaking or Flemish speaking, and so then we open basically the accessibility to trainings. So it's a long answer, sorry, but just to specify the different kind of reasons why of each different approach, basically. But us, we tend to prefer, at least as a secretariat, to keep English to provide the international overview, and then to rely on our members that also have the more national also understanding, apart from language, to then localize the activity.
Thank you very much, Claudia. Thank you, Anne-Christine, for the question. I have Tine and then I have Christian. Tine, please.
I don't know if it's possible to you to answer my question, but to make it more concrete, I would like to ask, can you name some Belgian members?
Yes, of course I can. So, for instance, a member that we usually very often engage when we address inclusion type of topics. We work with a member that is in Brussels, and is called Max, M-A-K-S, and which is, I am writing it in the chat, okay. This is a learning center that has different, is present in Brussels in different locations. They also have the capacity to engage both the communities, French and Flemish speaking, and they focus on into inclusion. So literally basic skills and using digital skills as a way to include people usually excluded from society, also for working type of aspects. Is not the only one. The other members, they are also across, not just in Brussels, although, for instance, another member of us is Brussels Formation. And also, for instance, District 09, which is based in Ghent. Also in Ghent, EduCentrum is another organization, both of them providing education within, especially in kind of partnership with schools. Similar iDrops interface organizations, media and learning association. You can easily find also all of them on our website. A new member I can also mention that as a specific focus, for instance, on disabilities based in Mons, Logopsicum. So just to Mediavis, also based in Brussels. We also work with them in different events and activities. So just to mention some of them.
Thank you very much.
You're really welcome.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Tina, for the question. Christian, you had a question as well.
Yes, thank you. This is for Andrea. Thank you for Andrea for the presentation. We met before, so it's good to see us again, and really, again, I think that very thought-provoking about and inspiring what you do. I had the question about this. When you call philanthropists, we usually in cultural heritage have a vision or perspective on philanthropists as being one way. You see donations also, but I understand that in your project is a way to make people aware, to participate. So there is a kind of retribution about that or that. Could you a bit elaborate on that, on your vision about these philanthropists?
Yes. Thank you, Christian. Yes, absolutely. I think we should try to open the meaning of philanthropy, because philanthropy is also to have the goal to generate an impact in society. And I believe today in society we need to make a change. We need to make a change in terms of economy drivers, and the goal of ARTI is to consider one of the main important drivers of economies, cultural heritage. So through the digitalization, we can open cultural heritage at the community, and everyone can be a philanthropist. But it's not just with the spirit of contribution for some restoration project. The spirit of contribution could be also for something else, for make an impact, for create the possibility to readjust a bit the meaning of ownership of cultural heritage. So today in ARTI, we design the project in this way, and I also believe that if we consciously, and I repeat again, in a responsible manner, we take in consideration this new paradigm of tokenization. Sometimes we talk non-fungible token, sometimes we talk metaverse, but at the end, these are just some tools. We need to understand what is the goal of using these tools, because also every technology should be used with some goals, as could be for artificial intelligence. And sometimes I see we don't have any vision about the goal. We are just using for something. But in my point of view, we need to use the word, much more the word why. Why? Several times why, reply why, because just in this way, we are able to come up with some kind of conclusion that for the goal of ARTI is to generate an impact. And the impact will be done to open up the participatory models. And to open the participatory model, we need to think in terms of, at my point of view, philanthropy in a much more responsible way. So philanthropists should be not just the entrepreneurs that for some kind of responsible, social responsible action, he provide money to restore some value. Philanthropers is something different. Philanthropers should be the society, everyone, the community. So the society should have to make everyone a potential philanthropist, to create an impact. And ARTI, to conclude, want to go in this kind of direction, be a platform to open the way across this opportunity, where everyone can make a donation, but not just for the preservation of the cultural heritage, but for say something across cultural heritage. I don't know if I was able to
Certainly, I think this really interesting, because what you say can go far beyond cultural heritage. By the way, this is, you see, reconsidering also economics versus the financial resources, and by the way, the why question comes in the front line, and everyone has in the world something to contribute to. Remember Kennedy's word, don't ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And this is a vision that today we is a bit lost when we expect things coming, you see, from top down, rather than participating and taking our own stake in it. So it's very interesting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Andrea, for your thoughtful answer. And thank you, Christian, actually, for raising this very important question. I was wondering whether there are additional questions. I don't see questions. I can see lots of synergies between your work, Claudia, and Andrea's work. And I truly hope that you will manage to collaborate together in the future, because you're leading brilliant projects who cut at different levels. So it would be amazing to see you working together in the coming future. Seeing that we don't have additional questions, I would like just to conclude by coming back to 3 important points which were raised during today's webinar. The first one is that Claudia tried to tackle what are the future needs in terms of upskilling and reskilling in regards to the digital environment for CCIs, and how to satisfy these needs through formal and informal education. Andrea provided a very concrete example of how the digital tools could be at the service of cultural heritage and could empower it to become a tool to regenerate a multiplicity of values for the community. Most importantly, both of you focused and insisted on participation and on inclusion. From your end, Claudia, you insisted on being inclusive in the vast varieties of technologies, but also of opening to all sectors of the society, and how to empower creators to imagine multiple futures. While you, Andrea, you insisted on how to democratize cultural heritage, make it open to everyone, and also how to democratize philanthropy and move it from a mere donation to a more of an impact perspective. Thank you very much for your both insightful presentations and discussions. Before waving goodbye, I would like to inform you that our 4th and last webinar for this season of C-SHIP webinars, Cultural Entrepreneurship and Green Transition, will take place on Thursday, 14 December from 4 to 5:15 Central European Time. and it is again under the framework of the large-scale skills partnership for CCIs of the Pact for Skills. I would like also to thank my colleague Karen, who was taking care of all organizational matters. Thank you very much, Karen. And finally, you will receive a follow-up email asking you to evaluate the webinar. Please do. If you wish to rewatch the webinar, it will be available soon on our eShek's YouTube channel and C-Ship's LinkedIn page. Thank you very much for joining us today on Zoom, and I look forward to welcome you again to our future webinars. Thank you very much and take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.